Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Very happy to be here today. I wanted to make a video for a couple of reasons. First off, as you guys can probably see from the title and the thumbnail, this video is going to be touching on the previous kidnapping and murder that has happened over in Tamaulipas, over in Mexico, a state that borders Texas. It's a border crossing state. And unfortunately, from last time I checked, the last time I heard, we had 2 Americans who were murdered and 4 Americans in total that were kidnapped. Apparently, last time I checked, 2 of them were released. This video is not being made to get attention. This video is being made because this channel, as you guys are well aware, we reach out to our families on this channel, we reach out to our friends on this channel, and I've had multiple people, I'm so grateful to say, multiple people from my other YouTube channels who've actually reached out to me and asked me if myself and my wife are okay. So this video is here to say, yes, we are okay. I also do want to touch on the violence. Now, there's no question, right, when Americans usually think of Mexico and think of the, areas outside of the resort areas in Mexico, people are always worried about the violence. Now, in the United States, all you hear are bad things about Mexico. In the United States, you also probably are well aware of the violence that occurs there. Tons of violence. Now, Mexico has its fair share of violence, but so does the United States. So I'm not here to say that violence does not occur. I'm not here to say that. I'm here to say that you're going to hear about it when it happens, if it happens in Mexico. You're going to hear about it. You only hear the bad stuff. You never hear about the good stuff. You might not hear about how loving 99.9% of the Mexican people are. How much normally people, expats, anyone from another country coming to Mexico, how they're normally left alone. Somehow the bad news always seeps through the media and saturates the media. Again, I'm not saying violence doesn't occur. I'm not saying bad things don't happen. But we've been sent the same article by so many of our friends and family that we wanted to tell you guys that we're okay and that we wanted to also address that's not the normal. I'm grateful to say that's not the normal. That state is known to be a very dangerous state. And that state is known to have problems during border crossings. Keep in mind, though, there are probably thousands and thousands of successful border crossings with 0 problems. I'm not telling you to cross the border there. I would probably suggest not doing that because it's known by many people. In fact, when Brittany and I were coming to Mexico, many people told us avoid that area, avoid certain areas. And so we did, because even though there are many successful border crossings, unfortunately, the wrong place at the wrong time happens, right? So we don't want to take any unnecessary chances. But wrong place, wrong time happens everywhere. Again, I'm not saying that it doesn't happen here. I mean, I could wake up tomorrow, go somewhere, and I can be the victim of wrong place, wrong time. Whether it's here in Mexico, whether it's back in the United States, it doesn't matter. This world that we live in is scary. But as a majority, I want to let you guys know that Brittany and I are well aware of the dangers. We're trying to take care of ourselves the best as possible. We don't hang around violence, and we try to avoid dangerous areas. We try to make wise decisions, just like you all should, no matter where in the world you are. And violence is going to happen everywhere in the world. It's very sad. Mexico in itself has a very bad reputation when it comes to this. But I do believe genuinely that that's because the media harps on Mexico more than any other place. And personally, I feel like that's probably because if there wasn't such a threat of violence, so many more Americans would be moving to Mexico. In fact, I don't know if you guys have been aware of the statistics, so many people are leaving the United States to live in Mexico. So the more of a threat of violence there is, the less people are going to go. And so the United States is actually incentivized to not have people move to Mexico. Again, not saying violence doesn't happen. You must take precautions no matter where you are. Again, I would not recommend you traveling through an area where people are telling you it's dangerous and that is known to be dangerous. I'm not telling you to do that. But there are thousands upon thousands of people who travel those routes every day, and they're perfectly fine. Not telling you to do it, just telling you the facts. You could be walking through the United States, go to a mall, and then all of a sudden the worst happens. This stuff happens all the time. So we're okay, gratefully. Hopefully we stay okay. And thank you guys for all the love that you've given to us through the text messages and the comments on YouTube. And we just want to let you know that we're okay. We don't feel unsafe here, you know. We walk around. We feel loved by the community. Things like this, even though we hear about them, they're not the normal. They're not the normal. Gratefully. The Mexican people are so loving and kind. Now, I just also want to say something else. I don't know anything about the people who are crossing, but I do believe, and I reached out to a couple of people who texted me, and I told them, look, I think there's something we don't know. I think there's something we don't understand. Because cartel members aren't just going to go randomly hurting people, target strangers on purpose. I mean, that's more on the rare side from what I understand, right? So apparently there was some kind of a misunderstanding. Wrong place, wrong time type of situation. It's tragic, and it's terrible, and it's horrible, and our thoughts and prayers go out to the families. It's terrible. A Mexican, from what I understand, a Mexican gentleman was killed too. Gentleman or lady. I just remember that there was a local who was killed too by the gunfire. It's disgusting, and there's no way that it's not. It's just the world that we live in. So you have to make wise decisions, and you have to understand that these things happen no matter where you are. And I know it sounds sick to say, but I feel a little bit more comforted by the fact that this was not something that was necessarily targeted. It was more like a misunderstanding. It doesn't bring comfort to the families. I'm not saying it should. There was from what I can imagine and understand, there was a problem. And the people who were crossing the border were thought to be someone else. In the United States, in comparison, there's targeted attacks all the time. So you have Americans murdering Americans, planned attacks, just for no reason. I'm not saying this should bring any level of comfort to the situation. But when you really think about like everything, I don't know. It just feels better to me that it was a miscommunication or misunderstanding rather than a specific targeted attack. Regardless, it's tragic, and it never should have happened, and the families are going through so much grief right now. So my wife and I, our thoughts and prayers are going to be with those families, and we hope that yours will too. We're okay, and we hope that those families will be able to be okay in the future. So much love to the family members of the innocent people who died, whether they were Americans or Mexican people. It doesn't matter. Nobody should be getting murdered. It's disgusting that this type of thing exists. But this isn't the norm. It's not the norm, and I'm grateful to say that some of the greatest people we've met are the Mexican people. So anyway, I hope you guys are okay and safe no matter where you are, no matter what your nationality is, no matter what your choice of lifestyle is. We hope that you're okay, and we look forward to talking to you at another video. See you later.